Japan is often seen as a nation of homogeneity, ancient traditions, high technology, and harmonious society. But beneath this surface lies a lesser-known story, one of forgotten peoples, rich cultures, and silent struggles. This is the story of the Ainu and the Ryukyuan people. Chapter 1. The Ainu, Spirits of the North. Long before modern Japan existed, the forests and rivers of northern Honshu, Hokkaido, Sakhalin, and the Kuril Islands were home to the Ainu people, one of the oldest cultures in East Asia. The Ainu worldview is deeply animistic. They believed that the natural world was inhabited by spirits called kamui, from the flames in the hearth to the deer in the forest. Every hunt, every harvest, every sip of water was accompanied by ritual and gratitude. The bear, in particular, was central to Ainu culture. In a ceremony called Iomante, a captured bear cub was raised with care and love. When it reached maturity, it was sacrificed, not out of cruelty, but as a sacred offering to release its spirit back to the divine realm. Men wore long beards and tattooed their arms. Women tattooed their lips and hands, a symbol of adulthood and protection. Their language, oral in tradition, had no written script and remains a linguistic mystery with no known relatives in the world. But the Ainu way of life began to erode in the 19th century. Following the Meiji Restoration in 1868, Japan sought to consolidate and modernize. The island of Hokkaido was formally annexed and developed as part of a national project. To the Ainu, this was catastrophic. Their lands were seized, their hunting practices banned, their names were changed, their language was outlawed, children were forced into Japanese schools. The government labeled them as former Aborigines, implying that their culture was dead. But it wasn't. The culture merely went underground, whispered in homes, hidden in the forests, remembered in dreams. Chapter 2. The Ryukyuans, Voices of the South. Far to the south of Japan's main islands lies the Ryukyu archipelago, stretching from Kyushu all the way to Taiwan. These islands, including Okinawa, were once the heart of the independent Ryukyu Kingdom, which flourished from the 15th to the 19th century. Blessed with fertile lands and strategic location, the Ryukyu Kingdom was a maritime hub, trading with China, Korea, Southeast Asia, and Japan. Its capital, Shuri, was a place of vibrant diplomacy, art, and cultural fusion. Ryukyuan language is not just one tongue, but a group of distinct dialects. The people dance to the rhythm of sanshin, a three-stringed instrument. They worshipped ancestors, and they developed a strong matriarchal spiritual tradition with Noro priestesses at the heart of community life. But in 1879, the kingdom was dissolved by the Meiji government. The Ryukyuan king was exiled to Tokyo. The islands were renamed Okinawa Prefecture. What followed was an aggressive campaign of Japanization, an effort to erase Ryukyuan identity. Students were punished for speaking their native language, often forced to wear a dialect tag around their necks as shame. Temples were closed, traditions mocked, history rewritten. Then came World War II, and with it, unimaginable devastation. Okinawa was the site of one of the war's bloodiest battles. More than 100,000 civilians died. Many were caught between American bombs and Japanese orders to commit suicide rather than surrender. The trauma runs deep. After the war, the United States occupied Okinawa for 27 years. Even after it was returned to Japan in 1972, the scars remained. Today, US military bases cover nearly 20% of the main island's land, a source of deep resentment and unresolved grief. Chapter 3: Survival, Recognition, and Revival. For decades, the stories of the Ainu and Ryukyuan people were barely taught in schools. Japan promoted an image of ethnic and cultural homogeneity. One race, one language, one nation. It was a powerful myth, but a myth nonetheless. In 2008, after years of activism, Japan finally recognized the Ainu as an indigenous people. A new law passed in 2019 aimed to support cultural preservation. Ainu language centers opened, festivals revived, Ainu cuisine, crafts, and performances began to reappear in public life. Still, challenges remain. True recognition requires more than museum exhibits. It requires land rights. It requires representation in politics. It requires undoing decades of shame, stigma, and silence. As for the Ryukyuans, their fight for recognition is ongoing. Japan does not officially recognize them as an indigenous group under international law. Yet their language is considered critically endangered by UNESCO. Only the elderly still speak it fluently. Young Okinawans, often feeling neither fully Japanese nor fully independent, are caught in between. But resistance blooms. Grassroots movements are teaching Ryukyuan language in schools. Artists are reviving traditional dance and music. Women are reclaiming the role of priestess, and the people are demanding a say in their future, especially when it comes to militarization and environmental protection. They are not asking to be part of history. They are asserting their place in the present. Chapter 4: Lessons for the World. Why do these stories matter? Because the loss of culture is not just about language or clothing or rituals. It's about memory. It's about dignity. It's about the right to exist, fully and freely. In a world facing cultural homogenization, the Ainu and Ryukyuan people remind us that diversity is not a threat. It is a treasure. Their stories echo those of indigenous peoples around the globe, from the First Nations of Canada, to the Aboriginal peoples of Australia, to the native tribes of the Amazon. Their struggles teach us that assimilation is not the same as unity, that silence is not peace, that forgetting is not healing. A nation's greatness is not only in what it builds, but in what it remembers. And so we remember. We remember the songs sung in the forests of Hokkaido. We remember the prayers whispered on the shores of Okinawa. We remember the people who refused to vanish. Treat others how you want to be treated, with dignity and respect.